Being rich and famous might come with plenty of perks, but it's definitely not all awesome. And definitely not all perky. While the life of an A-lister does include tons of money, lavish vacations in exotic places, private jets, and walking the red carpet at star-studded events, many celebrities also have to deal with extremely obsessed fans, who may be threatening not only their own safety, but oftentimes the safety of their families. Even simple things like going shopping for food can turn into a scary endeavor for celebrities. So at what point does an admirer cross the line from a fan to a stalker? Right now, I'm counting down the top 10 scary celebrity stalker stories here for you on IO. Hey yo, what's gravy? This is IO. I'm Charlotte. Thank you so much for checking out another top 10 list. I hope you're all having a great weekend so far, and if you're not, here is an invisible potato. Are you better now? I would hug the camera like I usually do, but I got a microphone right in front of me. Tell me down in the comments what you would do if you had a stalker. I have a confession to make. I kind of have the hiccups. I'm gonna try and get through this video without hiccuping, but yeah, this might be tough. Let's get into it, shall we? Coming in at number 10, we have Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is no stranger to being stalked. Maybe he was even stalked by a stranger. Several years ago, two stalkers planned to castrate and murder him. The uncle and nephew duo Mark Stake and Tanner Ruin were arrested in November 2012. They were acting under the orders of Dana Martin, a convicted murderer and rapist, serving 2 consecutive life sentences. Martin was apparently freakishly obsessed with the Biebs. He was a believer, but I mean, are you a believer if you want him to die though? Though he loved Justin Bieber, he told reporter Kevin Gray his reasons for having it out for him. He said, "It isn't just so people will know who I am, it's because he changed and that made me angry." It gets worse, guys, it gets worse. If Martin wasn't locked up, he explained exactly what he would do to Justin. "If I was free, here's what I'd want to do. Put Bieber in a cage, rape him repeatedly, and put it on YouTube." Yeah, that's a good thing that he's behind bars, because this is some scary stuff. And we are only at number 10, you guys. We got a long way to go. At number 9, Kendall Jenner. In October of 2018, E! News reported that Kendall Jenner got a restraining order against stalker John Ford. He had trespassed on her property 4 times in the span of 3 months. And she was actually at home during one of these trespassing incidents. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time that Kendall had a stalker. In 2016, Siobhan McKenzie harassed Kendall, following her into a driveway and screaming and pounding on her windows. Kendall opened up about the scary incident on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She said, "He goes, 'I need to talk to you.' And I was like, 'No, you need to leave.' I called one of my friends immediately. I'm sobbing, crying. He's at my window, banging on my window, screaming at me." McKenzie was eventually found guilty of trespassing, but he was acquitted of the stalking charges, meaning he wasn't found guilty. Next up at number 8, we have Sandra Bullock. In 2018, it was reported that Sandra Bullock's stalker, Joshua James Corbett, ended his life following a police standoff. The same guy was actually arrested before for breaking into Sandra's home, and as a result already had a restraining order against him. His actions all came to a head when officers were called to the stalker's home over a possible parole violation. According to a source, the suspect barricaded himself at his home when police officers arrived at his residence. Following a police standoff, Corbett took his own life. Although this ended quite tragically for the alleged stalker, who can blame Sandra Bullock for filing a restraining order? As reported by TMZ, a protective order can only be issued if the star has any reason to fear the suspect. I would say that breaking into your home is definitely a reason to fear someone. Yeah. Coming in hot at number 7 on this list, we have Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez has had a lot of fame. At one point, she was the most followed person on Instagram. But of course, being that famous, it means you're gonna attract a couple of weirdos. One of her stalkers had gone too far, and in 2012, he claimed he had over 50 conversations with God a day about ending the life of Selena Gomez. But in a weird plot twist, the guy actually saw that what he was doing was wrong, and he wanted to be restrained. In fact, he made himself known to Selena Gomez and urged her to get a restraining order against him. I mean, I feel like that's a good thing. He said, "I believe that a restraining order should be issued against me to prevent me from trying to contact Selena Gomez. I do not wish to object to the restraining order against me because I know it is the only thing that will make me stay away from Selena." Selena also had a report of another stalker. According to a 2014 report from USA Today, within hours of Selena's stalker's release, sheriff's deputies rearrested Che Cruz at Gomez's home in Calabasas. Dude, imagine the first thing on your mind after getting released from prison for a crime is to like go and commit that crime again. No self-control, that's scary stuff, man. At number 6, we're bringing you Victoria and David Beckham. Even the most famous celebrity marriage doesn't come without its drawbacks. In fact, Victoria and David Beckham have found themselves a victim of stalking on a number of occasions. Since the 90s, when their fame peaked, both stars have been subject to stalking. Remember the kidnap plot in 1999? 4 men and 1 woman were arrested over alleged conspiracy to kidnap Victoria Beckham and her son Brooklyn. The 5 people were arrested in London and Surrey and detained for offenses of theft and conspiracy to kidnap. Another 4 were arrested after the fact and were questioned at unnamed police stations. The information that led to their arrest came from News of the World. But fortunately, police intervened and helped, I guess, stop it from happening. There was another kidnap plot in 2002 against Posh Spice and her son. We are at the halfway point now. At number 5, we have Jennifer Aniston. It's not necessarily surprising that Jennifer Aniston has a stalker, or had a stalker. She's one of the biggest Hollywood celebrities there are. The bigger you are, the more vulnerable you are to stalking. But this scary stalker story is, you would never expect this to happen, honestly. Back in 2010, a man with a history of criminal stalking and violence spent over a week attempting to find Jennifer Aniston. He even told the police that he was in a relationship with her. I don't think Jen would agree with that. Not long after, he was arrested after carving the words, "I love Jennifer Aniston," into his own car. Following his arrest, he was placed on a 5150 psychiatric hold. He was also ordered to stay away from Jennifer Aniston. At number 4 on this list, we have Jennifer Lopez. In August of 2013, Jennifer Lopez had an uninvited guest stay in her home. John Dubuis, a former fireman, reportedly broke into J-Lo's estate in the Hamptons and stayed there for 6 days. 6 freaking days! He went unfound for almost a week until he was spotted by Jennifer Lopez's security guards. The 49-year-old man already had a protective order against him. That didn't really stop him from entering Jennifer Lopez's home and making himself comfy. I'm not really sure what he was doing. He even claimed at one point that he was her husband. He also told the police that he was the father of her children. That was the reason he told police for staying in the house. He claimed Jennifer Lopez had allowed him to remain in the house because they were together romantically with children. When he was identified by one of their employees, he was taken in for psychiatric evaluation. All right, we're getting to the top 3. At number 3 on this list, we have Taylor Swift. Taylor's had a couple of stalkers. One of them happened back in May of 2013. 22-year-old Lucas Vorsteveld was arrested for stalking Taylor Swift and making a round-trip swim only a mile away from the singer's private beach to her home. The other stalking case took place in 2017. And the guy thankfully got arrested and charged. After threatening to hurt Taylor Swift and her family, Frank Andrew Hoover was sentenced to 10 years probation. Apparently, Taylor Swift already had a restraining order against him for stalking. As well as the 10 years probation, Hoover is going to be monitored by GPS. This is to ensure that the authorities know his whereabouts at all times. So he can't go near Taylor Swift without them knowing. But wait, there's more. Back in 2016, Mohammed Jafar reportedly began stalking Taylor Swift, appearing at her building multiple times. He even went so far as to make it onto her roof and he buzzed her door non-stop. As if that's not creepy enough, in April of 2018, a masked man identified as Julius Sandrock reportedly traveled over 1,000 miles to stalk her at her LA mansion. According to The Guardian, he was found to have ammunition, a knife, rope, and gloves in his car at the time of his arrest. Scary, man. Getting scary, getting uncomfortable. But we're not done yet. At number 2 on this list, we have Ashley Tisdale. When someone sends you no less than 18,000 delusional tweets, I feel like you would want a restraining order against that person. 18,000 is a bit much. We'll cap it off at 16,000. Apparently 18,000 tweets was too much for Ashley Tisdale. But that's how many tweets Nicholas Fiore sent her, most of which were described as dangerous and delusional. She felt like the harassment was putting her in danger, which is why she filed a restraining order against him. Fiore had been harassing her since 2012, and he's violated that restraining order more than once. On top of that, he allegedly appeared at her house twice, one time disguised as a delivery man. Makes you not want to order anything from Amazon if you didn't want to do that already. And the moment you have all been waiting for at number 1 on this list. Goop Queen Gwenyth Paltrow. This one's terrifying not only because of the length of time that the stalker stalked her, but also the end result. A man previously convicted of stalking Gwenyth Paltrow was said to have done it for almost 20 years. Imagine that, having a stalker for 20 friggin' years. Dante Michael Sue was arrested in 2016 of sending Paltrow 66 letters and packages between the years 2009 and 2015, according to the Los Angeles Times. Prosecutors claim that some of the packages contained pornography and that Sue talked about marrying her in some of the letters, also according to the Los Angeles Times. Sue was previously found not guilty in 2000 as a part of a separate case involving claims that he'd sent Paltrow pornography and sex toys. He attributed his behavior to insanity, and a judge sentenced him to treatment at a mental facility. but he was arrested again in 2015, where he sent Paltrow letters again. Gwenyth Paltrow called the ordeal a very long and traumatic process. She said that the experience left her feeling very upset. In response, Stu told the jury that he wrote to Gwenyth Paltrow after his earlier conviction in an attempt to earn her forgiveness, and to let her know that he was still interested in marrying her. You know, if you're not too afraid of me. But the scariest thing is, a jury eventually found him not guilty of attempted stalking. How this guy did not end up in jail is astonishing. He stalked her for 17 years, dude. That's 17 years too long, man. That's like the life span of half the people watching right now. Well guys, there you have it. Tell me your thoughts on this one down in the comments. But I'm gonna wrap this video up with some quick comment features. In a previous video, I asked you guys if you would rather be rich and not famous, or famous and broke. Here were some of the responses. Prin said, I just want to be financially comfortable enough to not stress financially. It's definitely nice to not stress financially. It's definitely nice to feel like, okay, yeah, I can justify that purchase. It'll be good. Anna L said, would rather be rich and unknown. Being famous has zero appeal to me. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really terrible things that come with being famous. As we stated in this video, man, like you got some stalkers, you got bullies online, you got lots of stuff. And not to mention, everybody wants to sue you. As soon as you get the money, everyone wants to sue you. Garnet said, rich with no fame. If I was famous, I would be in jail. Why? That's it for me. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you guys next time.